Hi guys, happy Saturday. Today I wanted to come on first of all to apologize for my disappearance. My disappearance wasn't my doing. My accounts on Facebook, if you're watching on Facebook, were confiscated. And I also had some loss, very close childhood friends, as well as family members. And I'm still going through the grieving process. And I'm talking about grieving today. And I wanted to just make sure that we touch base, we communicate, we stay in touch, going forward as much as I can. Like I said, I'm still going through the grieving process, but I cannot be 100% showing up right now because I'm doing a lot of work on myself, and I'm sharing the nuggets on grief so that you can also do the work on yourself and we can all make our world become a better place. The reason why a lot of us suffer emotionally and mentally is because we do not take time to complete the grieving process. We only focus on one aspect of the grieving process, which is the first phase, which is the anger and resentful and denial phase of the whole journey. And we, during that phase, the anger phase, the denial phase, the resentment phase, we shift blame on other people. Some of us on our parents, or our parents went through this, and because they did not do this for us, we carry that pain on our shoulder. But reality is our parents gave the best that they could. For those of us who may say it's a parental issue, the parents gave the best they could because they did not have the capacity or the ability to do better, since they did not know better. And that's where forgiveness comes as part of the grieving and healing process, to be able to forgive them and release whatever it is you're holding on to, and move on. And so when you look at grief is an awakening, a conscious awakening to the love that we're missing in our lives. It's an opportunity for us to reconnect with the parts of us that we're yet to tap into. It's an opportunity for us to gain the conscious awareness of those areas that we need to work on so we can start to work on them. Take, for example, if you lose a loved one, it's an opportunity to connect with the love that you need in that moment with God first, because that's the only source of true love, and also connect to the legacy of love that that person left with you, and then continue to build on the love that you're missing in your own life, so that when you're intertwined with the love that you are, the love of God and the love of your loved one, you can begin to become awakened to the love that you need to give to yourself first before giving it to other people. If you've lost a job, it's the same thing. It's a huge void that you're going to carry about losing a job and having that gap there. But you have to fill that space with love. You did not lose a job. God took you out because that place was either taking away from you emotionally and mentally and depleting you in those areas, and you were not aware that you needed to grow. It may be also a time for you to rest, emotionally and mentally, and regain your wisdom and power back and bounce back because you were being depleted. If you've lost a child like I have, through several miscarriages, it's an opportunity to say, you know what did this loss teach me about the love that I have? Yes, I was caring for this child and that love was building up, but was it a love that I did not have for myself and I was looking forward to, in form of something that I needed to connect with, so that I can connect with that and then heal myself and begin to do the work. And so grief comes to awakening us to the love that we don't have, and the love that we need in our lives, and the love that we need to connect to so that we can reconnect with our soul and reconnect back to God. Because sometimes the things that we focus on are the things that are taking us away from God and building that relationship with God, which is the foundation of every single relationship we would have, including the relationship we would have with ourselves. And so the opportunity to reconnect and begin to accept what is, as this event happened to bring me an awakening, this event happened to enlighten me, this event happened so that I can reconnect with myself and my soul, this event happened so that I can forgive myself. And as you begin to accept, you also begin to release whatever you're holding on to that is not serving you, the pain, the trauma, the generational curses and patterns, the unhealthy habits and cycles, the unhealthy relationships that are taking you away from yourself, because God doesn't give us more than we can handle. He brings to us moments that we need to really tap back into ourselves and say, hey, I need to find myself. I need to love myself more. I need to give myself grace, so that as I give myself grace, I can begin to become better and not remain bitter. And so as you tap into the grace and the love that God is bringing and the awakening, allow yourself to ask the questions that you need. I don't know those questions. You may be asking those questions right now, and you may be creating narratives that are not meaningful, that are like excuses just to boost your ego, just to cover the fear and the shame and the guilt that you may go through. And those don't really bring you the answers that you need, but take you into a place of deeper pain. And as you ask those questions, the goal is to journal whatever it is, because sometimes you're thinking about things and the memory goes off into the back burner. And then later on, something happens and it triggers that memory back to the front, to the surface. And that's not what you really need. You need to journal down, so that as you're journaling down the thoughts that come, the narratives that come, ask yourself, what part of this is true? What part of this is a lesson? What part of this is an awakening moment? What part of it is the work that I need to do? And as you ask yourself those questions, you gain a deeper understanding of where you are with yourself, and what you need to work on to become the best version of yourself, and what you need to learn from whatever incident that you've gone through or experience you've gone through, so that you don't repeat patterns and cycles, so that you don't harbor pain or trauma, so that you don't build up societal, generational, traditional, cultural trauma that continue to go along with you and make you unhealthy, because all these things also affect our physical health, and not just our emotional and mental health, our physical health, our financial health, our spiritual health. They all tie together, because that's all the wheel of life that we have. And if we're not really looking at how to become better daily, then we will be our own greatest enemy. And that's not the reason why God created us every single morning with a brand new day, a brand new start. He gives us the opportunity to do the work and move away from whatever it is that we're suffering from, and allow Him to heal us, allow us to go through the grief process and completely become whole, so that when we're whole, we're able to recognize the distractions, we're able to recognize the showstoppers, we're able to recognize the purpose helpers and pushers, and we're able to recognize the purpose killers that come into our path. And then we are the decision makers that say, you know what, I have healthy boundaries. Sorry, you can't be in my space. Sorry, I recognize your role in my journey is to distract me. Sorry, I recognize your role in my journey is to stop me. But no one can truly stop you except you're choosing to accept stoppage as your only option. No one can intimidate you as long as except you're choosing to accept intimidation as your only option. No one can bring you pain except you're only accepting pain as your only option. And so you're not an option. You are a priority in God's eyes. And until you make yourself priority by committing and focusing and choosing to do the work, to heal, to grieve, to go through the whole not yet process of grieving and become whole, you will be your own showstopper. And in 2026, we don't want to do that to ourselves. We want to make sure that we're committed to healing. And if you've lost a loved one, I encourage you to learn from them. I'm learning from my family members that passed. I'm learning a lot from my friends that passed. I'm looking at, the gap of the connections that I did not make when I needed to make them, to stay in touch and to make sure that my brother and sister's keepers. And I'm also looking at how the lessons I'm learning from their lives that impacted me in a positive way, how I can turn that into opportunities for myself and evolve. And I encourage you to do the same thing. I'm also looking at my journey in the future and laying it at God's hands. And I'm also encouraging you to do that, because we don't own the time that we have here. We don't own the opportunity that we have here. We don't even own the breath. So when we try to control things that are outside of our control, we bring ourselves more pain. Just every day ask God for His will to be done in your life, and ask Him for grace to do the best that you can. And don't judge yourself, because don't be too hard on yourself, because again, God is the only judge that there is. People will judge you based on where they're operating from, usually a place of pain and hatred and bitterness and resentment. And you don't have to accept that. Choose your journey, learn the lessons, deduce the knowledge that you need to gain wisdom and understanding, and work a deeper course of journey with yourself, so that as you evolve, you can go back to the maker and say, thank you for this moment, and be grateful for the opportunity that you're still breathing and living. That's all I have for today. Take good care. God bless. Talk soon. Bye-bye.